Welcome in everyone to another casted game of Age of Empires 4. Today, on the left side of the map, we're watching Louis MT as JD, and on the right side of the map, we're watching Sergeant Johan as the English. The map today is going to be Gorge, and these are two of just the highest rated players in the entire game. When I clicked on the leaderboard today, Louis MT was literally at #1, so this should be an incredible game from these players today. And before everything really starts popping off, I wanted to take a second to read our comment of the day, which comes from user OF Wolfgang KTA. Does this count as watching a sport? I don't watch sports, but this is entertaining. Hey, thank you so freaking much for your comment. I really appreciate it. And if you all do enjoy these videos, please consider leaving a like or even subscribing, because it does help me out with the algorithm a ton. Both of these players have wood in the back of their base, with the gold off to the right for both players. Where is the nearest deer? The nearest deer is kind of close to the gold there for Louis MT, but over here on Sergeant Johan's side, that deer is much farther away. I feel like this deer over here is going to be a lot easier to defend for Louis MT, and I think as the French variant JD, they are going to want that deer production to get those knights working. Let's check on these players' scouts and see what they are scouting out. It looks like Louis MT is just going for those early sheep, just making the rounds around their base here, looking for those early sheep. And we can check the sheep. They're dead even right now. Up here, we're getting some stone production out of Sergeant Johan. I wonder if that means if they're going for a second TC. They're almost to the 200 gold they need for the Feudal age up, so this would be a good time to move over to stone production. Looks like I got baited by the wolf notification. I don't know why I thought an attack would be happening already. The game has barely even started. We have this unique hero unit, JD, that is now placing down this school of cavalry for Louis MT while they're also starting their wood production. And over here we are getting a Abbey of Kings, that they are going to get that free king unit to go and harass out of this age up building, which is going to be really nice for Johan. Villagers still just working on stone. I think we are going to see a second TC play here from Johan. I wonder if Louis MT is going to do the same. They have not moved any villagers over to stone yet. This scout does spot out that Abbey of Kings over here, and it's making their way into Johan's base to work on that early scouting. They have now spotted the base, and they know exactly where to attack. And I do have to say, I really do love their Japanese spring biome. I think I have heard other players don't really like the pink trees, but I think they look beautiful, personally. Just a little personal side note. Nothing too important there. So as these age ups come in, I am going to start looking for their military production and how these players build their armies at this level. Specifically, army comp is something that I struggle with knowing how to build, especially against like unique units. I seem to struggle against like Desert Raiders. Neither of these players are going to be playing Desert Raiders today. But army comp is something that I just need to get better at figuring out. So I am going to watch these players' army comps. And it does look like JD is going for that second TC. We can now see 5 villagers over here on stone production for Louis MT. And we just now hit 300 stone for Johan, and I think that second TC is about to be placed right now. A new age begins for our French player, our JD player. A new age begins for our JD player. That School of Cavalry is finished and is immediately producing a knight. A second TC going down right on top of the gold for Scarlet Johan. I really, really like this build right here. So they're going to have a place to heal all of their units with the Abbey of Kings right next to their second TC, so I'm sure this will make this a little bit easier to defend, and since it's right on top of that gold is going to be really difficult for the French player to harass, and they're going to want to harass because they have knights. So I'm excited to see this early harassment. Over here, Louis MT is doing the exact same thing, putting their second TC down right on their gold as that knight rolls out. I am curious if we're going to see this knight go harass. It looks like they're just protecting the second TC while it is being built. The knight not running out just yet. And over here we do have another knight that is working on killing these deer for the villagers. I think this just saves a little bit of time for the villagers if those deer are already dead, and surely they're going to push these other deer back over to that second TC and get it closer. They are pushing all of these deer into that second TC. So this second TC is beautifully placed. They get the gold production and the deer production, which is really, really useful for the French while they're producing all of their knights. Back over here on the English side, we can see that second TC is finished, and the farms have started rolling out. These farms are genuinely incredible for the English. They get boosted production rates through the age ups, and they also can potentially have a unique upgrade to start producing gold. In Imperial Age, this king unit does get spotted and is being chased out of Louis MT's base by several knights. Nobody has gotten a villager kill yet, so that king unit didn't get much harassment in before those knights rolled out to defend. Several villagers on sheep. And just a couple here on deer while that survival techniques upgrade is rolling out. More farms going down for the English player. How did JD get surrounded by 3 wolves? That is so unfortunate, but they can't just run right past them. Those wolves will eventually turn around. But 3 wolves on JD is so unfortunate. The king unit moving into the Abbey of Kings here to just heal up a little bit. They didn't take much damage, but what little damage they did take is healed now. And JD rolling out with these 2 knights and a scout. It looks like they're going to move in maybe for a little harassment. This king unit rolling back, trying to attack JD, but the knights are here to defend very effectively. JD is not going to fall to this king just yet. The 2 unique hero units fighting it out on the battlefield. Love to see it. Johan trying to scout out Louis MT's base over here. See if there's anything that they can attack, but this scout is immediately going to get chased out by those knights. The king unit coming back in, looking for a spot to harass on the stone, but realizes those villagers are no longer on stone and moves that king unit out of the base. Farms are just dropping for the English player. They are getting just a ton of value out of those farms. While over here, it does look like Louis MT is going for that war production as well. They just want all of the food production that they can get to mass produce these knight units. We're not seeing any other military buildings go down for Louis MT. We're just producing knights out of the Royal Institute while also building up their economy. This king unit almost dies to these knights, but is going to be able to run away and get back to that Abbey of Kings to heal up. And the White Tower is going down for the English player. We are moving in to Castle Age for the English player. And in Castle Age, they're going to be able to start producing those crossbows to counter knights. And I'm sure those are going to do really, really well. But the French player is also going to have access to the Arbitelaires in Castle Age as well. Louis MT is not to the point where they could start going castle just yet. They almost have the gold available, but they don't have the food available just yet. This White Tower, beautiful, beautiful placement on that White Tower, defending both of these TCs and this other Abbey of Kings. These knights rolling in, and they do see the White Tower age up building. It looks like they're thinking about attacking, but they're not going to commit just yet, as that White Tower was almost completed. And that does work as a keep, and it would deal a lot of damage to those knights. The king unit spots these units on the board production and tries to get a villager kill, but the outpost is already down to defend these 5 villagers that are on the board production. The king unit does have to retreat away and is now being hunted down by all of these royal knights from Louis MT. Again, the wolf notification. Louis MT was annoyed by that wolf notification just like I was and decided to kill the wolf. That is pretty funny. This king unit is looking for some place to harass, but does see these knights and decides to retreat. This JD unit is a little bit caught out, but I think the knights are close enough that it won't matter at all. The knights in their charge mode now, but that king unit is very far away. The English player is amassing some spears back here, and they are working on putting up that monastery. Louis MT is now building the guild hall. I almost missed it, but I didn't miss it. I saw it. I saw the thing. And now the guild hall is going down. This is going to produce just a ton of free resources. Normally, what I see players do is just put this on generate food, and then they can just get their food for Imperial Age from the guild hall. They just wait until that hits 2400, and then they can just switch over to Imperial instantly, and then they can use all the food production they have right now on knights, on the knights. Let me start looking for some military production buildings. Still just the School of Cavalry over here for Louis MT. They did get a monastery down, and I want to start looking at the relics. It looks like Louis MT is over here trying to defend this relic with one single knight, but all of this knight is going to fall to all of the spears. The spears, and now the crossbows are also rolling out for the English player, and now our English player is successfully defending this relic. There's still 5 relics on the map. I want to see where these monks are going. There's the first monk out for the English player, while back here the king and some knights are also doing some harassment. And Louis MT just positioning some scouts over here, and also a knight over this relic here, so they get that notification whenever the English player goes for that relic. These knights are chasing, the French knights are chasing the English knights out of this area. The French knights do outnumber this little party here, and also Louis MT has picked up their first relic in the center of the map, and is being closely followed by a little party of units from the English player. They are going to be able to catch up to this monk with the relic. I don't know if Louis MT has seen this yet. They aren't sending any reinforcements just yet. They should see it now with that notification. They have 2 knights right here, which are going to roll in and try to defend the monk, but that monk does go down and they die. The Wallalaw does try to drop for the English player, but that knight finishes off that monk very effectively. And now these knights from the English player are going to go attack that royal knight from the French player. The militaries are going to fight here in the center of the map. These knights looked like they were being auto-pathed, but now they're going to go in and attack. They have to retreat, though, because there is a good amount of spears here. And this knight over here guarding this relic does also have to retreat. Johan does get another monk out, but it looks like it ran past the relic. It looks like that was a misclick. Oh, no. They clicked right next to the relic and didn't pick it up. But now they have another unit going in to pick up that relic there. And here we can see that Louis MT has grabbed this relic over to the right next to their base, as well as this one right in front of their base. The Wallalaw drops again. Will this be able to pick up these knights? It's so close! They do! They steal all of the knights in this scout! And the only thing that's left is that king unit, and the king unit goes down! The king unit was able to finish off this monk, but not before that steal came through, and they were able to steal those units. What a beautiful play from Louis MT right there. That Wallalaw was perfectly timed. The king unit did kill the monk, but ultimately those knights are now joining the side of Louis MT. What a great play. That was beautiful to watch. And now we see Louis MT. I think this is their 3rd relic. I'm pretty sure this is going to be their 3rd relic. They have one right here. They're guarding this relic right here. And the other relic is right there. So yes, Louis MT was able to secure 3 of those relics. Unless the English player pushes over here and tries to deny this one. But I don't think that's going to be possible with this army sitting out right now. The English player working on walling off a huge portion of the map here. Ton of resources are going to be safe within these walls. And now several knights from the English player just chasing a scout, while also the English player is working on capturing that sacred sites. Those knights are going to be able to kill that monk, though, and deny that sacred site capture. French player making their way. That battle. French player making their way up the side of the hill over here with some knights. Did they spot these knights from the English player? I'm not sure. And we get the age up. We're going into Imperial for the English player. This English player has been wildly ahead on the age ups today. This English player has been so ahead in their age ups today, but The English player has been super quick on these age-ups. The Imperial age-up does come through. And now I think Louis MT is going to start wanting to look at Imperial since the English player has hit Imperial. Are they going to get their... Yes, they are getting their enclosures upgrade immediately to boost that gold production from all of these farms. Just gives the farms gold production. Absolutely insane ability from the English. And back here, we see just a party of 3 knights going into raid Louis MT's base. Louis has not walled off nearly as much as Johan, but Louis did spot this and is immediately garrisoning their villagers and moving knights in to defend as this monk gets back with their 3rd relic. Louis MT does have a majority of the relics on the map now, but Johan did get 2, so they're only 1 down. It's like a couple of villagers are spotted here, putting down this mill on the berries, while Louis MT is capturing the sacred site with that unique JD unit. There are now several crossbows on the map for our English player, who's also making horsemen now. And still not too many military production buildings. I am kind of surprised. I'm just seeing a barracks over here. More military production is now dropping for our English player. And Louis MT is trying to put a keep down on this sacred site to secure this area. It looks like we're getting a good little fight here. The knights from the English player are trying to make their way in to fight these knights from the French player. The spears are going to get chewed up by the archers from Louis MT, but Louis MT is trying to micro down these crossbows. Crossbows are going to do wonders against those royal knights. Both players fighting it out right here, but the English player is in full retreat now that this keep is completed. The keep finishes on the sacred site, denying that sacred site for the English player, and now Louis MT has 2 sacred sites. This one is not captured, and Louis MT also hits Imperial. That was not just a normal keep, that was the Red Palace. I did miss that was the Red Palace, but that was their Imperial age up right there on that sacred site. The scout just sitting over here for Louis MT. The scout is going to get caught out and just die. Gets blocked by that wall. And back here at the base, we can see that the enclosure farms are in full production. So many farms for this English player. And they're just boosted so much now that they are in Imperial and also getting gold. This is going to be a massive source of food production for Sergeant Johan. And over here, Louis MT only has 20 villagers on food right now. I wonder if they're reorganizing villagers or if that's really just all they need. 24 villagers on food now. Maybe they're producing farms. In the center of the map, we are getting a fight. The Knights and the Royal Knights are clashing. Looks like the English player did take a lot of losses here, but Louis MT's archers are not here at the moment, so they're gonna have a hard time dealing with all those spears in the back. Each player microwaving their army back and forth. Louis MT trying to defend the sacred site, but it does look like the English player is going to be able to neutralize it. And Louis MT does pull back, and Johan is now neutralizing this sacred site. Louis MT regathering their army back here at their base, as they are also putting down a blacksmith. Getting those upgrades just twice as fast, putting down multiple blacksmiths is always really, really nice. Just double up on that upgrade speed time. Now our English player looks like they're making their way over here to neutralize this sacred site as well. They are going to deny that extra gold that those sacred sites give Louis MT right now. This Red Palace beautifully placed on that sacred site. And oh my god, how did I miss this? Louis MT puts a keep down on this gold vein right next to Johan's base. Oh my god, this is so unfortunate. These villagers are going to be able to vacuum up this gold before Johan can get to it. Now the archers are here for this fight. This could potentially be a full-on fight, but it does look like Johan wants to move their military back. These archers are a huge threat to those spears. And the footmen. That one monk does go down. It looks like that monk was being microed over here to take the sacred site, but it does fall. Has Johan realized that there's a keep in the back of their base? The scout placed right here to watch for any movement from Johan. I don't think that Johan has realized that this keep is here. Maybe they're moving their horses over here now. Maybe they're moving their cav over here now to attack this keep. Or maybe they're just going around back to try to harass villagers on the other side of the map. Let's figure out what these knights are doing. Yeah, they're going to Louis MT's base. So maybe Johan has not realized that this keep is here and that gold is being vacuumed up. Johan does have this gold vein over here. Louis MT placing another keep down on this gold vein as well, trying to secure as many of the map resources as possible. Sneaking into the back of their base. Oh my god! Johan is putting a wall down around this keep. This is so funny. They have a bonfire right here. How has Johan not realized that this keep is here yet? All of these villagers walking right past this scout. The scout is gonna give their position away by auto-attacking. While the English player is moving in to attack the French player's base, they're gonna be able to burn down this wall super quickly and moving in to attack all of these villagers. Louis spotted it though and is garrisoning all the villagers. The villagers are now gone from this area. Actually, these villagers on this gold vein might be in danger. And they are. Several villagers are going to fall here from all of these knights, but Louis MT does have their defensive raiding party here to defend. And all of these royal knights are going to be able to chase these English knights out of the area. Several of the English players' units are now killing these villagers that are trying their best to rebuild this wall. If this wall does go up, all of these units from the English player are going to be completely and totally trapped. More units from the English player moving in to keep harassing back here on this gold and wood production. And it looks like the English player is now trapped in this wall. They have to burn down this wall to get these units out alive, or they're gonna have to run through the entirety of Louis MT's base to survive. And Louis MT has captured all 3 sacred sites again. Louis MT is back on the map with that sacred site victory. 8 minutes to go, and the English player is getting even more villager kills. We can see down at the bottom that our English player has killed 26 of Louis MT's villagers. Absolutely devastating here. While these royal knights are still just trying to chase the English player out of their base. They're having a hard time finishing off all of these units though. The wall is completed. These units are mostly trapped. They could potentially run just through the back of the base and get out this way. That is a pretty far run, and it looks like these units are just going to be trapped and completely cleaned up by Louis MT. And now in the center of the map, we can see that our English player is neutralizing this sacred site yet again. Now these villagers have completely vacuumed up that gold and are working on the stone now, putting down a outpost to help defend a little bit better. I am shocked that Johan has not realized that this keep is here and has not moved in to attack all of these villagers. Scholar Johan is up 13 villagers to Louis MT. Military in the middle, doing their best to defend this sacred site. And now the incendiary ammo upgrade is out for these archers. And another keep going down outside Louis MT's base. Their military is massive now. Both of these militaries are at full force. The English player pushing in to make a full attack on Louis MT. And the English player also has that incendiary ammo upgrade. This keep is going to go down, though, to defend the front of Louis MT's base. Both of these militaries looking for a good position to fight. And now they're fully committing to this fight. Who will come out the victor? It looks like Louis MT has greatly outnumbered our English player here, but all of their knights are just running into those spears and footmen from the English player. And I think they are going to be able to just overpower them. Yes! They are able to overpower them, and Scarlett Johan calls it with the GG. Louis MT is the victor. I think they were just going to completely and totally win that fight there. Thank you all so much for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see each and every one of you in the next video. Bye!